Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV in the new edition of our online interview series. We want to get an update from Uranium Royalty Corporation, and Scott Melby, the CEO, is here with us. Scott, welcome, and great to see you again here.
My pleasure. Great to be with you.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time. Uranium Royalty, also a really interesting company because you are the one and only, as the name says it, uranium royalty company in the world. What makes your model so special, first thing? And we want to get an update, of course. What are the latest highlights?
Yeah, well, we really feel that the timing of the foundation and the launch of Uranium Royalty. You recall we publicly listed in December of 2019, and then subsequently listed on the Nasdaq. But we were in an industry that was coming out of a very long and prolonged bear market, and which was great because we were able to build up our initial portfolio of assets at a very attractive acquisition costs. And now, as the nuclear industry is firing on all cylinders, we see a doubling of nuclear generation by 2045, and calls for a tripling or an even quadrupling of nuclear power over this period. The world needs a lot of new uranium mines being developed around the world, and we're a capital provider to that next generation of miners and developers. And so we just feel very fortunate to have the company in place, well capitalized, and moving forward. So our portfolio is beginning to crystallize in value, and we're very active out there globally, looking to add mines and developments to the portfolio.
Absolutely. So adding mines to the portfolio, that's one of the key words here. You have a strong balance sheet with over 300 million Canadian dollars in liquid assets. You also started an ATM program where you want to raise, I think, something like 54 million US dollars. So what are you gonna do with the money? I mean, I saw you've done an agreement with Forum Energy, for example. So
Yes.
what are the next steps here with the money?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically our war chest to go out and acquire royalties and streams. And what's great is, as we're engaged in that activity, we parked that cash in physical uranium. So we hold 2.4 million pounds of uranium at very attractive acquisition costs. And so as the uranium price increases, the value of that inventory increases. But as we identify royalties, I think the most recent one is the Forum in Nunavut. The longer dated royalties you can acquire, very attractive gross revenue royalties for not a lot of money at this stage, but cash flow will be, 10 years plus down the road. So you tuck those away and you create long-term value in the company. But I will say we are very focused to really identify mines that can produce and cash flow in this cycle. Of course, those are the unicorns. And so we're going all over the world to find them. I've been to Africa twice this year, and gone to countries to see these operations, put our eyes on the countries themselves, the operations. We bring our technical advisors within our company that have decades of experience in mine engineering and exploration and resource development. And I got to admit, it's one of the best parts of my job is to come alongside a CFO or CEO and say, hey, what do you need to get into production, or advance your definitive feasibility study, or build out a well field? Is it 25, 50, $75 million? We'll provide that capital in exchange for future streams of product or revenue from your operation.
Absolutely. If I look at your portfolio, you have around 25 royalties here
Mhm.
and 22 under development. So, can you maybe give us a bit of an update? How is it going on your key royalties, which are the ones maybe the
Yeah.
fastest being in advanced into cash generation, and maybe anything which is important for us to know on the other ones?
Yeah, well, it clearly is a portfolio approach. We have 25 royalty interests on 22 projects, And we're only going to be as good as the projects that we've aligned ourselves with. And so those
Very.
counterparties, that due diligence is very important, that we engage in. But as we speak, I mean, there's some offsetting effects in the portfolio. Just this morning, Cameco reported their quarterly results, where they indicated that McArthur River is going to be producing somewhere in the 14 to 15 million pound range rather than the targeted 18. However, the Cigar Lake royalty is going to be producing, maybe higher than 18 million at 19 million pounds. So we have royalty exposure on both those projects. McArthur is presently paying out in a physical royalty, so some of that revenue will be reduced. But with better operations at Cigar Lake, we have a net profit interest arrangement there. So the more they produce at the higher price they sell that product, the faster that expense bucket in our calculation is worked down. And within 2 to 3 years, we're receiving maybe 4 to 5 million annually from a royalty like Cigar Lake. We've had mines that have gone through a period of startup, like Peninsula's Lance. They completed their central plant and drummed their first yellow cake in the last couple weeks. So eager to see them move into a steady state production there as well. The Trump administration policies have been extremely positive. Again, the Fast 41 strategy of fast tracking the permitting and regulatory timelines of critical minerals, including uranium in the United States, is impacting 3 projects that we have in our portfolio. One is Dewey Burdock in South Dakota, one, and then 2 in New Mexico, Roca
Mhm.
Honda and Church Rock. So those companies can know they can move forward, knowing that the federal government is going to be very supportive in the permitting and licensing of those operations.
Mhm. Permitting licensing, that opens another question. I see in Spain that you are in the Salamanca project with
Mhm.
Berkeley. Yeah, I remember they were permitted, then the permit was revoked. So what's the status there? Because I think Europe starts to wake up
Yeah.
with mining and everything, and because Europe has a lot of potential here. Um, what have you made to invest there? That
Yeah,
sense.
Salamanca is a bit of a call option for us. It's a small interest on what should be already an operating mine on in the European community. But as you know, that it faced some opposition in terms of the mine development. And but I think politics are changing in a lot of countries. There was a bit of an anti-nuclear sentiment guiding Spanish energy policy, real focus on renewables. But as you know, they've had massive energy challenges and blackouts in that country. And the latest thing we see now is that the operators in those countries are appealing for continued operation of nuclear plants in Spain. And I think, that can change the attitude towards uranium mining as well. So that's one that, again, that we acquired and tuck away, and we're patient to wait for local and federal politics to favor that operation.
Mhm. What can you do as the royalty company to really push companies or let's say projects forward to bring them faster into production? Meaning, can you help with permitting through your contacts? Yeah, because as we were talking about UBC some minutes ago, um, to me is still imminent importance that we get more
Mhm.
mines in production worldwide, right?
Yep.
Because it's all growing so fast. I mean, even if we look at SMRs, I think nobody has really even calculated SMRs into the uranium, or let's say into the fuel demand, if you want to call it like that, because nobody knows how many will be there in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. Well, what we offer as a capital provider to do mine development. We offer a lot more than that. Obviously, we have to be the lowest cost of capital versus debt or equity, and we can do that and have successfully done that. But we bring more to the equation to a number of counterparties, even those that we're in discussion with right now. We've come alongside them if they want this level of help. Some counterparties are self sufficient, but others have drawn from our decades of experience in mine development, exploration, and assisting them to some degree. Because if they're successful, we can be successful. We've come alongside other producers and advised on marketing strategy. We've helped other potential counterparties with advice on government affairs and perhaps U.S. policy development. So that's a really big selling point for us as we compete against banks or other sources of capital that um, we're rooting for their success. And also, when we make an investment in a miner and they fall into our portfolio, we're out on the road talking about, we're putting more investors' eyes and ears on their project because they are now in our portfolio. So that's not lost in our discussions with new potential counterparties in the royalty space.
Okay, super. So I would say interesting times in front of us. Yeah. I mean, URC or Uranium Royalty is really a company where you can participate in a lot of good uranium projects, but you can sleep very well, right? Because the risk is extremely well diversified.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, we are diversified. We have a lot of elements of individual equity investment, elements of physical commodity investment, and elements of ETF investing, but not a lot of the downside. So we think it's an ideal model in the perfect commodity today at the perfect stage in the cycle. So very optimistic for what the new year will bring for URC.
Fantastic. And how many people are running the company altogether?
We have about 6 full-time people, so, the overhead in a company like ours is quite small, and it
Yeah,
shouldn't be
very
big. We don't operate the mines, we just own interests in them, so we can
exactly.
double the size of the company with that size of a team. But we can draw on other, resources and do so when needed. But, yeah, it's a very efficient model.
So that means when it comes to production, you are only collecting.
Yes, yeah, it's cash machine.
Fantastic. Super. So, hey, thank you very much for the update. Wish you well. We spoke already about the markets. I think we must not do that again. And I know you are in a rush because you are, yeah, the man who everybody wants to talk to, I would say. And so I wish you well. Hope to see you soon. And we wish you all the best. Thank you very much for your time.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Scott Melby, the CEO of Uranium Royalty Corporation, the one and only royalty company in the uranium space. You really have a look on that. Where else do you get over 25 projects here they have invested in with the who is who of the uranium space in the world? And I think it's an outstanding project, enough cash in the bank, over $300 million in liquid assets. Also, what I really like is that they have 2.4 million pounds of uranium in their vaults stored. That is fantastic. And because we are all, yeah, very, very bullish for the uranium price. So I'm pretty sure they will make a fortune with that. And also with their royalties and streams they have, that looks all really, really good. Check out the company. Thanks for watching us and bye bye from Switzerland.